My husband and I have an 18-month-old son, and now I'm pregnant again. Yesterday, my mother-in-law came to our house right at dinner time after her hospital checkup, and my husband was at the gym. I was already exhausted, and there were only some simple ingredients left in the fridge. I planned to make pasta but realized we were out of meatballs, so I had no choice but to make pasta without meatballs. When my mother-in-law saw it, she asked, "Is it just pasta?" I explained, "Yes, I forgot we ran out of meatballs, so this is all I could make." She replied, "If you had told me, I could have brought some meatballs. That way my grandson and the unborn baby could have a real meal." Her words really upset me. My son had already had protein in the morning and afternoon, and I also need to eat well for the pregnancy. So I told her, "Maybe you don't know how much protein people actually need. Our dinner is perfectly fine." She immediately got angry, saying I was ungrateful. She mentioned raising 3 sons and knowing what boys need to eat, and told me to plan better next time. That completely infuriated me, and I shouted, "If you're just here to criticize my parenting, then don't come anymore." She stormed off angrily.
A man's hands shook as he counted his last few dollars. Rent was due, and his little sister needed new shoes. Across the counter, his landlord crossed his arms. "If you can't pay by tomorrow, you're out." The man swallowed hard. "I just need a little more time." No excuses. "You should have worked harder." The man clenched his fists. He had worked hard, 2 jobs, late nights, but it was never enough. But then, everything changed. One day, the man found a wallet on the street. Inside, $2,000 in cash. His heart pounded. He could finally pay rent, but when he opened the ID slot, his stomach dropped. The wallet belonged to his landlord. The man could have walked away with the money, but instead, he took a deep breath and knocked on the landlord's door. His eyes widened when he saw the wallet. He snatched it, flipping through the bills. "You didn't take anything?" "No," the man said. The landlord sighed and sat down. His usual harsh face softened. "You know, I wasn't always like this. I lost everything once. That's why I never give anyone a break. But maybe I've been wrong." Therefore, the next morning, the man found an envelope under his door. Inside was a rent receipt marked "Paid." Hard work should be rewarded. Thanks for reminding me.
Being a stay-at-home mom to 2 kids is a full-time job, but some people don't see it that way. My sister also has 3 kids and a full-time job, and she recently asked if I could watch her kids after school every day. I'm willing to help, but this would significantly increase my daily responsibilities, so I need some compensation. However, my sister said, "You don't have a job, you're just home all day." She thinks I shouldn't ask for money because I don't have a job. Taking care of 2 kids is already a full-time job, and adding 3 more is not easy. I tried to explain this to her, but she said I'm being selfish. My parents are also on her side, saying I should be more accommodating. Now, I'm being portrayed as the bad guy because I expect some compensation. I hope my work at home can be recognized. Am I wrong?
When a woman opened the envelope from her dad's girlfriend, Lena, she smiled politely, but inside, her stomach flipped. The card wasn't an invitation or a note. It was a business card for a videographer. "I've hired someone to film your baby's birth. It'll be such a beautiful memory." The woman's heart raced. She had told everyone more than once that she wanted her child's birth to be private. Only her husband would be in the room with her. The thought of a stranger recording her during such a vulnerable time made her feel sick. The woman didn't want to hurt Lena's feelings, so she thanked her and put the card away. But the gift stuck in her mind like a thorn. Lena had good intentions, but she hadn't listened to the woman's wishes. Later, during lunch with Lena and her dad, the woman gently brought it up. "I really appreciate your thoughtfulness, but I don't feel comfortable with a videographer at my birth. I'd rather keep it private." Lena looked shocked. "But why? This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment." The woman hesitated. She didn't want to upset Lena, but she couldn't back down. "Because it's my moment." Lena began to cry, and her dad frowned. That was rude. She just wanted to help. The woman felt torn, but she knew her decision was right. Her husband squeezed her hand. "This is your choice." The woman smiled. She felt guilty for upsetting Lena, but she also felt strong for standing up for herself. Sometimes protecting your boundaries means disappointing others, and that's okay. She was cleaning the school hallway, but the rich mother screamed at her to move out of the way. "Get away from my daughter! You're dirty! Don't touch anything near her!" The janitor quietly stepped aside. She kept cleaning. The mother grabbed her daughter's hand. "Stay away from people like that. They don't matter." Later that day, the woman's daughter got sick at school. Very sick. She couldn't breathe right. "Help! Someone help my baby!" the mother cried. All the teachers were in meetings. The office was empty, but the janitor ran over. "I can help." "No, get away! You don't know anything!" the mother shouted. The janitor ignored her. She checked the little girl. "She's having an allergic reaction. I need to give her medicine now." "You're just a janitor. You don't know medicine." The janitor pulled out a small bag. Inside was medicine and a needle. She gave the girl a shot. In seconds, the girl could breathe again. The mother was shocked. "How did you?" The janitor smiled. "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen. I work here nights to pay for my medical school loans. I start my real job as a doctor next month." The mother's face turned red. She felt so ashamed. Some people clean floors, but that doesn't make them small. Everyone matters. Drop a heart and subscribe. What if a job opportunity cost you the love of your life? I choose the job because I find my girlfriend is not trustworthy. I currently earn $250,000 a year, but I have an opportunity for a job that pays $640,000 a year. The only catch is that the new job is overseas, requiring me to be away for 4 months at a time instead of the current 4 weeks. My girlfriend said she will be unhappy if I'll be gone for 4 months. I tried to explain that this would be temporary, just 1 or 2 years. We could pay off all our debts, buy a house, and travel. This income would set up a solid foundation for our future, but she said she didn't care about any of that. If I was gone that long, she might need someone else's company. I thought she meant getting a dog, but she said she can't go months without sex. I was shocked. I had always thought she was a trustworthy person, but she made it clear she needed human company, not just friends and colleagues. I understood and decided to break up. Now she's calling and texting me constantly, saying I misunderstood her. But I know that if I can't trust her now, I won't be able to trust her in the future. All right, here's how it all went down. I'm just trying to grab my morning coffee. Nothing fancy, just my usual $4 pick-me-up. You know, quick in and out kind of day. Good news! The person in front of you paid for your coffee. Would you like to keep the chain going? Of course, why not? I'm feeling pretty good. So I say, sure. How much for the person behind me? $42 for coffee. And just like that, I'm out. I guess the streak ends with me today. She looked at me like I was the villain of the story. But let's be real. No way am I paying $42 for someone else's order just because my $4 coffee was covered. Sorry, but not today. I'm going to my brother's wedding this fall. My sister Laura and her husband Paul are also attending. They decided to visit me for a few days before we all fly to the wedding together. While making travel plans, Laura insisted on booking our flights together so we could sit together. She said she could Venmo the cost of my ticket and joked, "Hope I don't mind the middle seat." I laughed and asked why I would be sitting in the middle. Laura brushed off my question and said, "They both prefer the aisle and window seats. I suspect the real reason is their sizes." Laura doesn't like to sit next to Paul on planes because they can't both fit comfortably in their seat. They usually pick separate rows and hope their seatmates are smaller than they are. I didn't want to be squished in the middle for 4 hours, so I booked an aisle seat for myself. I also purposely chose a row that already had its window seat booked, so they can't sit next to me and pressure me into swapping later on. Laura was quite upset. She called me and told me that I was being selfish. I told her that I just wanted to be comfortable, and she yelled, "So did we!" Now, my mom says I should have sucked it up and sat in the middle to make Laura more comfortable. Am I the bad person for wanting to be comfortable during the flight? A man in torn clothes and muddy shoes approached the glass doors of the city's most expensive restaurant. The security guard immediately blocked his path. "This place isn't for people like you." Customers inside laughed and pointed. "Look at this beggar!" The hostess wrinkled her nose in disgust. "Sir, you're making our guests uncomfortable. Please leave immediately." She called for backup as other diners pulled out phones to record. The manager stormed over. "How dare you disturb our establishment? Security, throw him out!" They grabbed his arms roughly, dragging him toward the exit as everyone cheered. But the man remained calm. "I just wanted to see how you treat people." The staff rolled their eyes. "Yeah, right. What's next? You're secretly rich?" The man pulled out his phone and made a call. "Send my lawyer down. Now." The staff exchanged glances but continued mocking him. "This guy's delusional." Minutes later, a man in an expensive suit rushed in, bowing deeply. "Mr. Harrison, I'm so sorry. Are you hurt?" The crowd fell silent. The homeless man straightened up. "I'm the owner of this restaurant. I wanted to see how my staff treats those less fortunate." He looked around at the horrified faces. "You're all fired. Comment yes if you believe kindness should be shown to everyone."